Welcome, Seeker. Take a deep breath and leave all haste behind you. We depart the visible world and enter the sacred space where the ancestors breathe and magic still has a name. This is the story of a young shaman, a dying village, and a ritual that will teach you what it truly means to be awakened. Our story begins in the Vale of Ethel, a place once famed for its radiant light. Ethel means the place where the veils are thin. But in recent years, the light had dimmed. A fine layer of forgetting had settled over the valley. The rivers flowed, but their songs were quiet. The harvest grew, but the taste of joy was missing. The people of Ethel began to forget their dreams. Our protagonist is Elara. She was the last student of Miran, the keeper of songs and the valley's eldest shaman. Elara was young, but talented. She could read the patterns of the wind and understand the hearts of the animals. Yet in her own heart, a gnawing doubt persisted. She carried the burden of becoming the next guardian, but she felt hollow. Elara suffered from what the elders called the Deafened Soul. She could see and hear the spirits, but she could find no echo in her own chest. She knew that the fading light of the valley was a reflection of her own uncertainty. How could she lead Ethel when she doubted her own worth? One cold morning, as the first frost covered the sacred stone circle, Miran, the elder, summoned Elara. Miran's eyes were so old they no longer saw the present, but only the infinite chain of the past and the future.
The time has come, Elara. I have shown you all that I know. Now you must claim the knowledge that I cannot give you. The ritual of awakening is at hand.
Elara felt her stomach clench. The ritual of awakening was the holiest and most perilous of all shamanic rites. It was not a ritual to gain new strength, but to tear away the veils of one's own doubt and claim the original infinite power that already resides within you. Many had attempted it. Some had returned, awakened and radiant. Others had returned with a vacant gaze, unable to ever hear the beat of a drum again.
Miran, I am not ready. I hear the songs, but I don't feel the truth. What if my soul truly is deafened? What if I am what is dimming the valley's light?
Miran smiled, a smile that had witnessed 1,000 autumns.
That is precisely the deception, Elara. The ritual will lead you to the edge of the void, to the veil of doubt. There you will meet the guardian of rejection. He will mirror your deepest doubt and prove to you that you cannot fulfill your task. The test is not to defeat him, but to recognize his reflection as a lie.
The elder named the 3 sacred tools Elara had to gather for the ritual. Each was a weapon against deception. The crystal tear, a drop of purified spring water holding the deepest, most painful memory. It must be truth without judgment. The Obsidian Blade, a piece of volcanic glass sharp enough to separate illusion from reality. The feather of the Silent Watcher, the feather of an animal you only saw once, truly without intention, the symbol of unconditional trust. Before Elara embarks on this dangerous quest, I ask you, traveler, if you feel this ancient wisdom calling you, if you wish to tear away your own veil of doubt, then take a moment now and join our circle. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. By becoming part of our community, you ensure that these profound stories and transformative lessons continue to be heard in a world that desperately needs to find its light. We are all on this path. We walk it together. Thank you. Now let us return to Elara's perilous journey. The search for the three objects began. Elara knew this was the true test, not the ritual itself. The veil of doubt was already at work in the valley, blurring the paths, and the trees whispered messages of discouragement to her. Elara had to climb to the source of the river of tears. This river sprang from the mountain of memories, a place where every stone held a repressed truth. The elder had told her she must collect a tear that held her deepest shame, without altering the story. Elara climbed for hours. When she reached the source, she saw the water reflecting her own image. Instead, she saw the moment her mother died. Her mother was also a shaman, and as she took her last breath, Elara, paralyzed by fear, had left the circle. She had not given her the final blessing the tradition required. She had run away. The reflection in the water came to life. Her mother's face looked at her with an expression of disappointment on her face.
You are weak, Elara. You failed me when it mattered most, and you will fail Ethel. Your fear is greater than your oath.
Elara collapsed. The voice was so clear, so convincing. It was the truth she had locked inside for 10 years. The water pleaded with her to cleanse the memory, to repress it, to discard it as a mistake. But she remembered Moran's words. Truth without judgment. With a trembling hand, Elara held the amulet cup to the water. She closed her eyes and let the tears stream down her own cheeks. She fully embraced the disappointment of her mother, her own pain, and her cowardly flight. She did not judge, she did not fight. She only whispered to herself, "This is what happened, and I am still here." In that moment of pure, non-judgmental acceptance, the water in her cup transformed. It wasn't cleansed, it became crystal clear. The crystal tear was one, the acceptance of her own fallibility. The blade lay in the cave of illusions, a place where spirits turned your deepest desires into deceptive realities. Elara had to use the blade to cut through the wish illusion without succumbing to its temptation. When she entered the cave, the cold, damp cavern was gone. She found herself in a flourishing garden in Ethel. Her father, who had died years ago, sat at the fire, smiling. The valley was radiant. The people sang songs of joy, and Moran greeted her with the title of Great Shaman.
Come, Elara. You are already awakened. The trial is over. This is the reality. You saved Ethel without having to suffer. Take your place. You are perfect. You are worthy.
This was by far the more dangerous trap. It was the illusion of the end of the struggle. If she accepted this place, she would be forever stuck in a reality where she did not have to grant herself any growth. It was the temptation of false completeness. Elara had to seek the blade. She saw that the Obsidian Blade lay under a stone altar in the garden. But every time she reached for it, her father laughed or her mother called her name. The illusions were so loving and real that the pain of giving them up was unbearable. Elara felt her ego scream,
Take it. It's so easy. This is what you deserve.
She looked into the eyes of the illusory Moran, and then she saw that while Moran's eyes smiled, the eyes of the real elder always held the vastness of the horizon. The eyes of this illusion contained only her own reflection. With a deep, painful cry that cut through her own desire for simple salvation, Elara grabbed the Obsidian Blade. The blade cut through the air, not an object. It cut through the lie of the illusion. The garden collapsed. Her father, the laughing villagers, the perfect Ethel. Everything dissolved into a smoke of regret. Elara stood alone in the cold, empty cave, the obsidian blade firmly in her hand. The blade was one, the ability to separate desire from truth. The last object was the easiest and at the same time the most difficult. The feather of the silent watcher symbolized unconditional trust. It was the feather of a bird she had once seen in her childhood, a rare black hawk that hovered silently over her camp. She had to find the feather at the stone of forgetting. When she reached the stone, the feather lay directly before her on the cold stone. But Elara hesitated. The veil of doubt now whispered directly into her ear.
You don't need this feather. You have your own strength. Don't rely on random objects. Trust only your own power. If you take this feather, you admit that you are incomplete.
The doubt was an attempt to defend her autonomy. It told her that trust in the unknown was a weakness. But Elara had just defeated her own shame and her own wish illusion. She knew true autonomy is the ability to accept help. She reached out and took the feather. It was not her strength that caused her to do it, but the strength she gained through humility. The feather of the silent watcher was one, trust in the greater whole. Elara returned. Moran awaited her with the sacred circle of crackling sage and yew wood. The villagers gathered, their eyes vacant but full of quiet hope. Elara stepped into the circle. She placed the crystal tear, the obsidian blade, and the feather in the center. She struck the drum with a single, pure beat. Boom! She closed her eyes and sank into the great silence, the place where the spirits either break you or raise you up. The veil of doubt attacked her. It was no longer a voice. It was an overwhelming cacophony of everything she had ever hated about herself. Thousands of voices screamed, "Unworthy, flawed, you are a fake, you are too late, you are alone." The crystal tear in the center began to glow. Elara felt the tear show her the truth of her mother. Her mother was not disappointed by her flight, but had released her with infinite love so that she could make her own choices. The tear showed her the pure, unconditional acceptance that was always extended to her. The doubt screamed louder, desperately. It tried to convert the love into guilt. Elara raised the obsidian blade in her mind. She did not strike at the doubt, but cut through the connection between the judgment and the memory. She separated the lie from the fact.
I am not my fear. I am not my failures. I am the one who survived. The illusion is ended.
The doubt collapsed. It transformed into a misty gray cloud of neutrality. It was not defeated. It was disarmed. In this silence, Elara held the feather of the silent watcher. She trusted that the emptiness she felt was not the end, but the beginning. She trusted that her original power was there even if she could not see it. With this act of trust, the veil of doubt finally tore. Elara did not see a new light. She saw herself, but whole. She saw the infinite chain of her ancestors who were not waiting for her but flowing through her. She saw the entire history of the Veil of Ethel, which was not before her but vibrating within her. The deafened soul awakened not through a new power but through the removal of all barriers against the power that was always there. The return was gentle. Elara opened her eyes. The light returned, not as a blinding light, but as a warm, rich presence that spread naturally throughout the valley. The eyes of the villagers lost their vacant look. They began to remember their dreams. Miran looked at Elara.
You are returned, Elara. You are the new guardian. What is the great wisdom that you found at the edge of the void?
Elara looked over the valley, then at her own hand.
I found nothing that was not already there, Miran. The ritual teaches us that we are not unworthy, but merely unaware of the greatness that already resides within us. The ritual of awakening is not the search for the light, it is the ceasing of hiding it.
This is the deepest shamanic truth for you seeking spirit. You are not incomplete. You do not need a new source of power. The emptiness you sometimes feel within you is not the absence of light, but the density of your own doubt. True awakening is the judgment-free acceptance of your past, the crystal tear, the cutting through the illusion of your wish realities, the Obsidian Blade, and the unconditional trust in your already existing divine nature, the feather. The greatest magic is simply being completely yourself. Go into your world, carry your lessons, and know the light of awakening does not wait. It already shines within you.